Thank you, Representative. Representative Mark Mustio.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It's good to see you, and
See you too. Thank you.
we miss you. We miss you back in Allegheny County, but you're doing a great job. I have three questions. One relates to the Neighborhood Assistance Tax Credit. The second relates to the Pittsburgh Airport, and the third relates to government regulations and their impact on businesses. The Neighborhood Assistance Tax Credit program has a cap of $18 million. And my question to you relates to the demand for that program. Has it been maxed out? If so, do you feel there is a justifiable need to increase the amount of the tax credit?
Yeah, that's a good question. That comes up a lot. I know that there has been a tremendous amount of support to increase that in Western Pennsylvania, and I'll tell you why. I think the business community in Western Pennsylvania has utilized that program to a tremendous tremendous amount because of the fact that they've taken it upon themselves, and this is the Allegheny Conference, to match businesses with the needs to utilize the Neighborhood Assistance Program tax credit. We're trying to do the same thing in Philadelphia. We just had a meeting, Deputy Secretary Meade and I had a meeting with the Chamber, the Philadelphia Chamber, to try to do the same thing there, and we want to do this throughout Pennsylvania. It is absolutely oversubscribed. The $18 million is oversubscribed. Personally, I think it is a tremendous program because, again, it gives our businesses an opportunity to make investments in communities that don't have any other support. Chairman Wheatley discussed this before. You know, the lack of funding to help some of the community development organizations and communities for specific needs. And this is a way to actually help these communities. So we think it's a great program. We just need to utilize it more. The majority of it's utilized in southwestern Pennsylvania, and I think we need to utilize it more throughout Pennsylvania.
Well, if it's oversubscribed now and you're talking about Philadelphia, I'm assuming you're going to come back to us to increase that amount. So maybe we should start having those discussions now. Infrastructure improvements are critical, and this legislature showed that we could raise revenues when needed to work on infrastructure, that being the gas tax that was passed. And you've spoken about various DCED economic development line items so far this morning. Of particular interest to me in my district is the Greater Pittsburgh International Airport. And we, after 9/11, not the 9/11 Air Base, but 9/11 incident, saw a significant change in the airline industry and a loss of a hub in Pittsburgh. And there's always been a struggle now, as you know, and County Executive Fitzgerald's done a great job through the Airport Authority to start to bring some additional flights, but we're still several hundred a day less than previously. So we need some help there, and I just was wondering what thoughts you had, since you're a former board member there, to help maximize our efforts to increase the number of flights.
I think the one thing is we finally got the right person, and not to the detriment of anybody else that's been there, but we have a rock star now leading that airport. It's a person that never ran an airport before, but it's a person that knows every single airline in the world and every airport in the world, and has spent the last 25 plus years working with those airports and those airlines. And she has done a great job now, as you know, Representative, in increasing the amount of air service. It's not enough to support the business community, and we recognize that. And we're going to work very closely with her and the region, the business community, and County Executive Fitzgerald, who's done a great job, to make sure that we can support them with additional flights. I think they're looking at European destinations. They are looking at more destinations domestically that the business community really supports, and also looking at creative ways. And it's not just Pittsburgh. So it's a variety of the Midwestern states and cities in the Midwest: Cleveland, Cincinnati, St. Louis. They all lost their hub status, and all within a few years. The bad part of Pittsburgh, what happened to Pittsburgh Story, is it lost its hub 12 years ago. The good part is that it was 12 years ago, and Pittsburgh has done a great job of reimagining itself, and the airport in particular. But we need to work very closely with them, and we will do that. I was just on a conference call with her 2 weeks ago regarding additional air service, and we'll continue to be in front of them to look at ways that we can help.
Thank you. And my final question in my last minute here is, relates to regulation. I've had businesses approach me that are trying to expand or even move into the Pittsburgh Airport area, and I'm sure based on your discussions with new companies, those questions arise to you. So I would be interested in your interaction with other departments as it relates to specifically environmental regulations or the difficulty in dealing with the multiple number of agencies in Pennsylvania when some company wants to locate here. How do you help facilitate that?
So we have folks on staff and Scott is a great example. He and his staff do a great job of this, working across departments throughout the Commonwealth to look at issues that come up and try to find ways to resolve them. I think, the other departments, DEP in particular, I think does a good job in terms of responding to the needs. And I heard that directly from Shell. Shell has been very, very happy with the support that they've received from DEP and the response that they've received from DEP. I think because a lot of the businesses that you're talking about are looking for resources from us, and I think to the extent that we're involved or we need to get involved, we would be happy to advocate on their behalf with some of the other departments and work closely with them to make sure that there are no hiccups and it's easy to do business and it's easy to get operations started.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.